fucking lame!
Hey yo, how's it going everybody? Thanks for tuning in. My name is Efrain and I love Skyrim. I've been playing on the Xbox for years, and now that I can finally mod this sexy puppy up, I'm taking full advantage of it, taking a look at some mods and telling you all about them. Alright, now admittedly, I was a bit hesitant about downloading this mod again, and I say again because I actually downloaded and reviewed it with a friend of mine quite some time ago, and I posted that video on another website, and you will never ever be able to see that video because that website sadly no longer exists. Alright, come on Efrain. Keep it together. Try to hold back the tears. Back when we first reviewed this mod, it was very disappointing as it had very few additions that hardly impacted your game. Now fast forward to today, with a much needed upgrade, this mod is definitely worth some space in your load order to check out, and is now one of my personal favorites. This is the Dremora overhaul mod in Skyrim for the Xbox One by DeadraStep. Full disclaimer right off the bat, there is no loot hero feature included in this mod where you can play fucking face-melting loot solos. I just saw the pick of Destiny again and couldn't help but make a reference to Dave Grohl's sick-ass performance as Satan in that movie. Alright, now let's get into the mod. When you start off the game, you have the option of choosing up to 3 new starting races, all of which are forms of Daedra. The first being the Dremora, the sort of basic humanoid Daedra, with a nice description you can read if you'd like. As with all Skyrim races, you have the option of playing as a male or female, nothing new there. And I'd say the Dremora has the most customization options of all 3 races that you can play as in this mod. As you can see with the variety of skin tones that appear to be coming straight out of a box of Crayola crayons. You can choose the most badass colors like OG Devil Red, Cold Hearted Blue, Master Chief Green, Midnight Black, and Periwinkle. Moving into the head customization option, all Daedra races have 2 new face tattoos in the complexion section. That's a fun phrase you could say. The first being a bright, obnoxious neon red that shines into space so you can identify your character even if you're standing on the fucking moon. And a blue one that was introduced first in the mod when it was released, and that was the only kind of option you could choose to customize your character's face back in the day. If you'd like, there are other couple of options you could go to in the Warpaint section with 2 other face tattoos, and you can go ahead and change the color if you so desire. There aren't any additions worth mentioning in the face, so like no new noses or no new mouths, or no extreme changes I should say. You do get 6 new eye colors for both male and female, and that's about the only extreme change that I could think of. Now this is what I'm sure you're most interested in. The horns. So all male Daedra races get exactly 40 horn variations, and all females get 31 variations. Males also get spiky facial hair that I'll show off in a minute, as I just speed up the footage so you can go ahead and see all the horn styles this mod has to offer. Okay, so all the new Daedric races get 2 very powerful powers to use once per day. Blood Exchange allows you to regen magic quickly like the High Elves, and Blood of Oblivion is unique because it combines 2 powers of 2 races found in the base game into 1 power, which is pretty damn cool. And the first is you do double damage and take half damage from all sources, that being the Auric power-up. And you also get a Flame Cloak that lasts for about a minute and does 8 points of fire damage to enemies within melee range, that being the Dark Elf power-up. But wait, there's more! You also get additional unarmed attack damage like Khajiit and Argonian races thanks to your Daedra Claws. Now let's move into some stats. So Dremora have 100 health points. Nothing new there. Pretty standard across all races. 110 Magicka. So 10 plus Magicka for the base kind of races, maybe except for the High Elf. I'm not sure. And 110 Stamina. Again, 10 more points. Additional 10 more points from the starting level of 100 Stamina. Starting skills. So Dremora get 25 Destruction, 25 Conjuration, 20 Restoration, 20 Illusion, 25 two-handed, 25 one-handed, and 15 in all the other skills. So not too shabby. If you want to run the route of a mage, Dremora might be your pick. As for resistances go, Dremora get 30% resistance to fire, 10 resistance to shock, and 5% resistance to poison. Yeah, that's the Dremora. Pretty standard all around. Alright, so the next playable race we have in this mod will be pronounced by my friend Mrs. Text-to-Speech, so I avoid sounding like a dumbass.
What do you want me to say, bitch? Zivilai? Zivilai? What the fuck is a zivilai? Is that a word you made up? Have you got nothing better to do, you dumb lazy mother?
Thank you, darling. These guys are similar to the Dremora in appearance, except their skin tones are typically paler, and they have a sweet shiny body tattoo you cannot remove. As far as any kind of changes to the body, like nose, mouth shape, eye color, eyes, or any kind of different horn variations, there are none. So they are, for the most part, similar to the Dremora that I showed off in the first half of this video. Where they differ is in their superior starting stats. At level 1, they start with 130 points of Magicka, health, and stamina, so that's just really just great all around, especially for a level 1 character. Let's go ahead and talk about their starting skills. So they get a 25 skill in Destruction, a whopping 35 starting skill in Conjuration, 25 in Illusion, 20 in Restoration, 25 in Alteration, a whopping 35 in two-handed and one-handed skill combat, and a whopping 35 starting skill in Speech, which I guess kind of symbolizes their cunning and cleverness. Now, as far as their resistances go, they are by far the most resistant race in this mod, as they get a 40% resistance to fire, a 20% resistance to shock, and a 10% resistance to frost. So they can basically tank all of the spells found in the vanilla game. Alright, the final playable race we have is I'm going to go ahead and get my friend Miss Text-to-Speech back on the mic one more time.
What do you want now, you cuck? Just say the word. Fine. Zivkin. There. Maybe one day you'll be able to pronounce words as well as I do, but that would mean taking a break from watching pornography and learning to actually do something useful. I pity you so very much.
Thanks, sweetheart. These guys are the least customizable of all the 3 races. Fun fact, these guys were actually the only playable race when this mod was released, and as you can see from all the limited options, from the very lackluster skin tones and the one eye color, I tried moving the slider up and down, you only get this milky pupilless eye. As you can see from this was pretty disappointing, as it was marketed that I could play as a super badass Dremora, but thankfully this mod has been updated and is vastly improved upon from the original. Getting the stats here, at level 1, these guys have 130 Magicka, 110 health points, and 130 stamina points. Not too bad. As far as starting skills go, they get nothing new from both of them. They basically mimic the Dremora starting skills. So they get a 25 destruction skill start, 25 in conjuration, 20 in loot. 20 in illusion, 20 in restoration, 20 in alteration, 25 in 2 and 1-handed skills, and 15 basically everywhere else. And finally, getting to the resistances, these guys have a 30% resistance to fire, a 30% resistance to frost, and a 10% resistance to poison. One final thing I want to say about their general appearance is that all the races included in this mod are generally pretty tall and beefy. Here I am standing next to this shelf, and as you can see, I'm roughly the same height as it. Here's another picture for reference. As you can see, me and this Stormcloak soldier are standing more or less side by side, and I absolutely tower over this puny mortal. So sound, in my opinion, is an essential and underrated attribute to immerse you into a game. So when I first downloaded this mod and found my character being a Silent Sally, I was pretty disappointed. Thankfully, the latest update of this mod includes a voice pack for your playable Daedra. Now I'm going to go ahead and shut my mouth now, and I'll let you listen to a bit of it. I'm also sure female Daedra get a custom voice pack as well. I just have no footage or audio clips because I didn't test it, and I know I suck. The voice also affects your dragon shouts, and this is what it sounds like. Alright, so by now you may be thinking, man, this mod has a lot of shit in it already. But wait, there's more. This mod also includes a Daedra Hunting feature, and what I mean by that is, throughout the land of Skyrim there are these red and blue Daedric portals that are kind of just hanging out in the middle of nowhere that appear to be ripping apart the fabric of time and space. Approaching one of these portals causes enemies to spawn around you in a fiery blaze of glory. Portals will always spit out what I like to call a Dremora boss, who has pretty good equipment, a lot of health, resistant to most magic, and hits like a fucking truck. Usually they're identified by being the first to spawn and also having the best / most loot on them once you kill them. Those guys are always accompanied by either 2 Dremora lesser soldiers or a Daedric battle mage, and they also are accompanied by lesser creatures like Dremora churls, Atronachs, shade archers, and flesh trolls. Now the mod maker has included a list of where these Daedric portals can be found on the mod description at Bethesda.net. I'm going to go ahead and give a little bit more detailed list, as the one given here isn't very descriptive. Near Solitude, between Falgunthor and the Abandoned Shack, directly west of Fort Greymoor, right behind its secret entrance near a pond. Bleak Falls Barrow, at the bottom of a set of stairs facing Riverwood eastward, close to a boat behind Golden Glow Estate, and in front of the fort Valador's Tooth, atop the throat of the world, right in plain sight, opposite of the labyrinthian entrance atop a set of stairs. The abandoned house in Markarth, where you begin Molag Bal's quest, right outside the Markarth city sewers, and this one is directly to the right of the main gate exiting Markarth. Behind Mehrunes Dagon's shrine. This one is interesting because this one is a Daedric dragon spawn. Near the Shrine of Azura, the backyard of Skyhaven's temple. A cell in the abandoned prison. This one is right outside the starting room for the alternate start mod, and if you choose to escape the cell, you're going to be greeted by a nasty set of Daedra. The largest mushroom in Blackreach, and on a mountain behind Windhelm, and that one's interesting because it's written here as a god spawn location, and I haven't got around to checking that one out, but I honestly can't fathom what kind of fresh hell awaits me there. But wait! There's more! Okay, so now that I covered what the bulk of this mod features, I'm going to go ahead and finish off with a couple minor additions and details from this mod. To start off, let's go ahead and talk about some of the items you can loot off the Dremora. And the first thing we have here is a spiky Daedric Shield that causes bleed damage when you bash an enemy with it. In description it says that it actually weighs less than indicated. True. The shield cannot be improved at a workbench like other shields or at groundstone like every other weapon. However, they can be enchanted with shield enchantments. Next is the Daedric Staff, and these are typically enchanted with fire magic. Apart from their design and the blue flames they shoot, regardless of whether or not you have color altering mods that affect flames installed like I do, they are honestly nothing special. They function exactly the same as the vanilla staves do. I just thought I'd mention them because I like using them. This mod also adds in 2 new creatures that are capable of being summoned via conjuration magic. You can obtain these spell tomes from either killing Daedra, or some shopkeepers will randomly have them in their shop inventory for you to purchase. Both creatures have an interesting summoning animation and some interesting features. The first is the Scamp, which comes in at a novice level summoning spell and has some really good textures and design. However, that's all it has. It shoots firebolts at enemies and then dies when you so much as pat it on the shoulder because it's as weak as piss. Next up is the Daedra, who, to put it bluntly, is as ugly as sin. This thing also isn't so great. It can function well as a tank as it's capable of taking a good amount of hits, but the damage output it has is pretty lackluster. It can shoot flames out of its big dumb face and does pretty poo-poo damage with its claws. It does have one key feature, however, and that is when it uses power attacks, it has the ability to knock opponents down like a Fus Rada does. Legends say that liches and their staves are included in this mod, similar to the ones found in Elder Scrolls Online, but in my 30 plus hours of playing have been unable to find one. If you download this mod, please tell me where you found it or how you found it, because these things to me are harder to find than fucking Waldo. Finally, this mod changes all naturally spawning Dremora in the vanilla game, like those in Azura's Star and the ones found at Mehrunes Dagon's Shrine, to custom Dremora found in this mod. Of course, this mod is not perfect and has a few problems. There are a couple of graphical issues, especially with the Dremora face gen. Frequently, you'll come across Dremora with faces that are completely a different color from the rest of their bodies. Occasionally, you also get Dremora whose faces haven't completely loaded, resulting in a horrific pixelated pink mess. Now, you may have noticed a set of horns in the character creation part of this video that were green. Needless to say, that is not supposed to happen. Magical effects of staves sometimes don't work, especially if you are casting them super close to an enemy or object. And finally, there is a patch of water right in front of a Daedric portal in front of the city of Markarth that doesn't seem to be loading, and also doesn't load in or doesn't fix itself after you've killed all the Daedra. Gameplay issues, in my opinion, are super irritating and not so easily forgivable as visual problems. So a Titan spawns in Markarth as part of a Daedra Hunting feature, and I have 2 problems with it. First, the Titan is named Titan 1, so that indicates a clear lack of attention to detail on the mod maker's part. Secondly, the body doesn't despawn after a couple of hours, like the other corpses do included in the mod, and now permanently resides in the Markarth River, functioning as a hideous eyesore that is slowly driving me insane. The biggest issue in this mod happens to be with the horribly random Dremora spawns. Occasionally while wandering Skyrim, a Dremora party will spawn similar to the ones that come out of a portal and will attack you. Of course, I hate getting caught with my pants down, especially against strong enemies, as much as the next guy. But what really frustrates me is that I have no idea if this is a feature or not. The mod maker does not mention this in the mod description, so I guess I have to assume it's a technical bug, a very, very annoying technical bug. It's a shame because these flaws really make the mod seem unfinished, and I bet with some dedicated time to thoroughly polish it, this mod can definitely go from a good one to a great one. What's even more disappointing is that the mod maker no longer wishes to work on this mod, so we'll never get to see a perfected version. This is it. Despite all that, this mod is still a lot of fun and has a lot of content for you to enjoy and mess around with. If you've ever wanted to play as Dremora, this mod definitely delivers. The character customization for the 3 races it adds is by far the best feature. I wouldn't recommend you put this in your permanent load order as it alters the game a little bit too much for my liking, so it's not fitting for all your saved games. If you've always wanted to play as a Daedra and can easily get over the fact that your character constantly goes and you don't mind some janky enemy spawns, and if you're also looking for a challenging pseudo side quest, you should definitely check this mod out. Well, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. My name is Efrain. Adios.